Welcome to this interactive study on energy transfers in and between organisms. This topic bridges cellular biochemistry with global ecology. We'll explore how plants capture light energy via photosynthesis, convert it into chemical energy stored in biomass, and how this energy flows through food chains as organisms respire. Key concepts include gross primary production, net primary production, and the role of ATP as the universal energy currency. By the end, you'll understand why only about 10% of energy passes between trophic levels. Let's visualize the core concepts. At the center is ATP, produced via photosynthesis in plants and via respiration in all organisms. Photosynthesis splits water using light energy, photolysis, generates ATP and reduced NADP, then fixes carbon in the Calvin cycle. Respiration breaks down glucose, using glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and the electron transport chain to drive ATP synthesis. On the ecosystem level, we measure energy stored as biomass, gross primary production, total energy fixed, net primary production, energy after respiration, and biomass, standing crop. Turning to our detailed notes, photosynthesis occurs in two stages. In the light-dependent reactions on the thylakoid membranes, light energy excites electrons in chlorophyll. These electrons are replaced by photolysis of water, generating oxygen. As electrons move through the electron transport chain, they provide energy to pump hydrogen ions into the thylakoid space, creating a gradient. The return flow of ions through ATP synthase produces ATP, a process called chemiosmosis. The light-independent reactions, or Calvin cycle, then use this ATP and reduced NADP to convert carbon dioxide into glucose. Now let's trace energy from its source. Step 1. Sunlight is captured by producers during photosynthesis, producing organic matter. This total energy fixed is gross primary production. Step 2. Plants respire to maintain themselves, consuming roughly half of GPP. What remains is net primary production, the energy actually available for growth and to herbivores. Step 3. When a herbivore eats plant material, only a fraction of energy is absorbed and converted into new animal tissue, most is lost as heat or undigested matter. Subsequent consumers experience similar losses, so typically only 10% of energy passes to the next trophic level. This inefficiency explains why there are rarely more than 4 or 5 levels in a food chain. Let's work through a typical exam calculation. The question gives gross primary production as 5,000 kilojoules per square meter per year, and respiratory losses as 2,000 units. Remember the equation, net primary production equals gross primary production minus respiratory losses. So 5,000 minus 2,000 gives 3,000. That's the energy actually incorporated into plant biomass and available to herbivores. To get the percentage, divide NPP by GPP and multiply by 100, open parenthesis 3,000 divided by 5,000 close parenthesis times 100 equals 60%. So only 60% of the original energy fixed passes up the food chain, the rest is immediately used for plant metabolism. Watch out for these common pitfalls. First, never confuse gross and net primary production. GPP includes all energy captured, NPP is what's left after the plant's own respiration. In calculations, always clearly state your formula and show subtraction. Second, when discussing biomass, remember it's typically dry mass so water doesn't skew results. Third, in biochemistry, distinguish substrate-level phosphorylation, like in glycolysis, from chemiosmotic phosphorylation, in electron transport chains. Finally, examiners love to see units and time periods in your answers, don't leave them out. Following these tips will secure easy marks. To wrap up, remember the essential links. Photosynthesis converts light into chemical energy, respiration releases that energy as ATP. The efficiency of energy transfer limits ecosystem structure. Key equations, NPP equals GPP minus respiration. In ATP production, know both substrate level and oxidative phosphorylation. For calculations, always use correct units and show working. With these concepts mastered, you're ready to tackle any exam question on energy transfers in organisms.